flying itself through the atmosphere. It's sort of like a transforming vehicle that went from a spacecraft and now it's kind of like an aircraft actively guiding itself.
When we're going slow enough, we deploy a parachute.
It's the biggest supersonic parachute we've ever sent to another planet. It's critical for slowing down the vehicle.
Perseverance's entry, descent, and landing borrows heavily from that of Curiosity.
But fundamentally, Perseverance is a different rover. She's bigger, she has different instruments.
We've added a lot of smarts on the inside to make it more capable.
Crater as basically an ancient lake bed and one of the most promising places to look for evidence of ancient microbial life and to collect samples for future return to Earth. The problem is it's a much more hazardous place to land.
When you look at Jezero, all you see is danger. How do we go to a site that we never thought was safe enough to go to before? So the heat shield, which has protected us all the way through entry, is no longer necessary. We need to get that off so that we can actually see the ground. And we can see the ground in a couple different ways.
Perseverance will be the first mission to use terrain relative navigation. So while it's descending on the parachute, it will actually be taking images of the surface of Mars and determining where to go based on what it sees. This is finally like landing with your eyes open. Having this new technology really allows Perseverance to land in much more challenging terrain than Curiosity or any previous Mars mission could. Amongst the rocks and the craters and the cliffs, these things are hazardous to the rover, but these are the things that are interesting to the scientists.
Once Perseverance has figured out where she is, we jettison the back shell and parachute and light up our rockets. Those rockets help us steer to a safe landing spot that's nearby.
That descent stage takes us all the way down to about 20 meters off the ground.
That's when we start the sky crane maneuver. And once the rover has hit the ground, the descent stage will cut loose from the rover and fly away to a safe distance. Surviving that 7 minutes is really just the beginning for Perseverance. Its job, right, being the first leg of sample return, to go look for those signs of past life on Mars. All that can't start until we get Perseverance safely to the ground. And then that's when the real mission begins.
Dave, very wise. My name is Steve Hallman. I'm the Vice President of the San Diego Astronomy Association. And welcome all. And so jumping into our next chart here. First, I want to remind everyone that we have a new website that you can come and see all kinds of content that's which you can go to at SDAA.org. In fact, you can type in SDAA.org and we're like the first thing that comes up in Google. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So we try to announce all of our meetings in advance, give you kind of a little bit of warning to come join us for those kinds of things. And as one of the things that I would like to mention, if you'd like to join our organization and you live in the San Diego area, we have a loaner scope. We have a loaner scope program run by Ed Rumsey and Dave. If you will put the link into the chat, thank you. So there, that link, you can just copy that link and put it in the address window on your browser, and it'll take you right to the page on our website where you can see the telescopes that we have to loan out to our members. So it gives you a great opportunity if you don't have a telescope to try one for the first time. We typically lend for a couple months at a time. And if you were thinking maybe you'd like to try a different kind of telescope, if you've had one already, it gives you an opportunity to do that also. In addition to that, I wanted to mention that we have a newsletter, which is available every month. And the February issue is available at the link that just popped up in the chat there. So you can copy that link from the chat. Again, type it in your browser window. It'll take you right to the library where we keep all of our newsletters. And there's a great article in this month's February's newsletter on the mid-February sky. So you can see what's kind of up and available to take a look at and read some interesting things on. So I'll encourage you to do both of those. And then on my next slide. So I want to remind all of our members and our new friends that we have a YouTube channel. So you can go to YouTube and type in San Diego Astronomy Association, and we pop up. We have now over 400 followers. We have over 70,000 views on our videos. So we record our meetings with content, put it up there, freely available to everyone to use. And I just want to mention that we also have another group which meets also once a month called our Astro Imaging Special Interest Group, or AISIG group. Scott Dixon, who's here this evening, is there, and you can, and there was the link in the chat there that will take you directly to our YouTube page. So you can take a look at all our videos. So we now have many hours of videos up there that has some of our outreach events, our monthly meetings, our AISIG meetings, which are kind of focused on solving camera problems, camera processing, things like that. So a wide range of different topics for you to watch and enjoy. And if you can't make one of our monthly meetings when we broadcast live like this one, you can go there and see the content also. Next chart, please. Okay, so this Saturday, we will be doing our annual banquet. And for those of you who are going to join us at the banquet, which is online Zoom, so you don't have to, drive anywhere or anything like that, you can purchase a ticket, and we send you an email. And our guest speaker this year will be Blaine Baggett, who's an Emmy Award nominee producer. Has done a number of NOVA specials and generated a number of videos on the early astronauts, and just a fascinating range of topics. He is the head of communications and a Caltech fellow at Caltech, the people who do many of these probes and rovers. So he will be speaking on finding life in our solar system. How do we know, are we alone? So that's a great topic. And so if you come join us, you also have the option, if you want to test out your links. So you buy a ticket, we send you the link to the night, and you can come and join us, where we're going to have a whole bunch of stuff, which the next our Master of Ceremonies, Mike Chasin, will speak about in just a moment. But before you even get there, you can go try out your link and see if you feel like maybe you're not that familiar with Zoom links, or you think you just want to make sure you're not going to miss anything. You can come try your link out on tomorrow or Friday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Our president will have the Zoom meeting up and running, and he'll be playing an astronomy video. So there's nothing to see other than really to test out your link, just to make sure that absolutely no chance you're going to miss the meeting. And so next chart, I'd like to introduce our Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Mike Chasin, who's going to tell you a little bit about our banquet and things that you should know about for that.
All right, so Steve, thank you for the nice introduction. You did a great job describing the banquet, telling you all about Blaine Baggett, who will have a terrific presentation for us on life elsewhere in the solar system other than Earth. You'll also get to hear at the banquet our own president, Dave Wood, give our annual report, introduce our upcoming board members, and we're going to have a sweepstakes and an auction, which I'm going to run you through now. One of the things I was going to talk about, and Steve touched on this also, is if you need help logging into Zoom. But hey, you're here tonight, so obviously you have figured out Zoom. Thank you. Can I get a show of hands on here? If you go down to the bottom of the reactions, can I get a thumb up or applause if you're planning on coming? I'm curious to see of our group tonight. There's Kevin in there. Very good. John, thank you. Dave's got the hang of it. Very nice. Okay, they're raising in. We have 114 attendees paid, and if you haven't decided to join You can do it tonight on that link Steve shared with you. It's plastered all over our SDAA.org page. 20 bucks. It should be a really entertaining night. Okay, here come the couple links in the chat to the sweepstakes and the auction. These are also on our home page, so there shouldn't be any difficulties for you to find them. So there it is. We talked about the big red button to come to the banquet, and what I just sent you are these two links to the sweepstakes and auction. So I'm going to give you a preview of these things now. Okay, so your first question might be, for a sweepstakes, how come we're doing that? Why aren't we doing our raffle? Well, there's a really simple reason, is online raffles are illegal in the state of California. We usually do it in person and draw the numbers in person, and that is okay, but for whatever reason, you cannot do an online raffle. You can do a sweepstakes. If you'd like to know why, feel free to Google it and let me know, because I looked into it and I wasn't sure either. In any case, we outsourced the management of this process to a company called Event Groove. They've been terrific to work with. As you can see, we've raised $2,900 in sweepstakes tails. So what's going to happen is this did already close, unfortunately. But for those of you who bought the tickets, thank you very much, is we will have a drawing that night and I will be announcing the winners. If you don't attend and you bought the tickets or something happens, you wander out of the room and you're not there, it's not like the regular night where I pull a ticket and you decide to sit on your hands because you don't want something from Bob's Knobs or something. You will get an email confirming your lucky prize. So some hows and whys of it, you can read about there in the links. Some of the cool stuff we'll be giving away. We have not one, but two $500 Oceanside Photo Telescope gift cards. Absolutely fantastic TeleVue 85mm refractor. So a whole bunch of neat goodies that hopefully you bought your tickets for, and we will be giving away that night. All right, so that is our sweepstakes. The auction, if you didn't get to participate in the sweepstakes, there's still time. I believe here, if I could do my math this quickly, that looks like 3 days, 0 hours, and 39 minutes. Someone help me there. That looks like it closes a little bit after 8 p.m. that night of the auction. So, right, 8 p.m. on the night of the banquet. So we'll be starting at 6:15 in the evening. The show itself, the performance, doesn't really start until 7 p.m. So that first 45 minutes is kind of like a virtual cocktail hour. We'll have a little video display up. There'll be some music. The chat will be open. The voice will be open. So it's a chance for you to gather with some friends, some folks that you may not have gotten to see or hang out with, but we'll have a way to do that virtually. 7 o'clock, we'll kick off our evening. As we make our through the evening, we will get to the auction. So to hype the last few things here, we sorted them into 3 categories: telescope, cameras, and other cool stuff. Is we have 4 telescopes. We have an amazing deal on a 12-inch LX Meade 200 there, LX 200 12-inch Meade, only used once. This thing is in terrific shape. It was donated to the club. There is no tripod included, but our president, Dave Wood, says he can get you one for free. This is probably a $4,000 retail prize. So I'm hoping that folks are sandbagging it. They're just waiting till the last minute to bid, and then you're all gonna pour in with your bids. If nothing else, man, if you could take that thing home for $2,000 and sell it on eBay or Astromart, that's okay. We're good with that. We'd like it to get used by a club member, but hey, if you wanna buy it, turn around and sell it, as far as we're concerned, we're just happy to raise money for the club. So please do bid on that. We have this also virtually brand new Celestron 11-inch Rasa. You can see that's getting some activity, 3 bids there. Just one bid on this 5-inch Explorer Scientific refractor, 50% off. So $1,900 new, only $995, heck of a deal. So feel free to comb through these links. You can check out that, the 2 cameras that we will be auctioning off, and then a bunch of other cool stuff. So don't wait, don't get caught. Remember, it's going to close about 8 p.m. the night of the banquet. So feel free to bookmark your favorite items, note them, and then come ready. When you do hit make a bid, it's going to ask you for your credit card information. You won't get charged unless you're the winning bidder. So don't worry about that. All right, that is all the information I had for you, but I will be happy to hang out here. And if you guys want to unmute and ask questions or fire off something in the chat, I'm happy to be here and answer any.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Do we have any questions for Mike at this point? No? Well, you can think up your questions. And all those links to bid. Oh, let's see. Back. Oh, those are so if you want to ask them questions, you can. Otherwise, the links that we'll put in the chat will take you to our webpage where you can find the links to buy tickets for the auction. So I have a couple pictures. One of the things that we do at our club is we have so many members who are so good at taking astrophotography photos that I like to feature a couple of them every month. And so this month I have this one picture, and we get surprisingly few pictures of the moon. So when we get one, I like to put it in. This one was done by one of our members, Alan Ruckel. And he did it in his driveway at his home. So Dennis, that's not a good question. So I want to point out that one of the things that people do in astronomy is they take pictures. They're either for kind of quasi-scientific things, and they like to do things like follow the Hubble color palette and things like that. But sometimes they take pictures just for the aesthetic beauty of it. And I find this actually one of those things where the pictures are just beautiful. Okay, if you can take me to the next slide. And like the last one, the technical information on scope, with the scope and things like that are given on the right. This one is the Phosphor and Cone Nebula regions done by our president, Dave Wood. And this one I like to think of, this is really a hydrogen alpha picture, giving this enormous, beautiful texture. And you can see the Cone Nebula in the extreme lower left-hand corner. But this I think of almost as an artistic picture. So this was done with one of the club scope, the Tarot Observatory at our dark site, TDS, which is out the 8 freeway from San Diego halfway to Arizona. And this one is used a very popular image processing software called PixInsight, and he is utilizing it. And what he's done in this one that's made it even more of an artistic rendering, he's gone in and he's removed the stars out of it. So there's a whole actually wide variety of stars normally embedded in this picture, but he's used the image processing capability of this software to remove the stars, leaving just the nebulous clouds. And it's kind of interesting. It almost looks like a water splash, kind of almost abstract art kind of thing. So another kind of thing. This is, you can get very technical pictures and you get the very aesthetic pictures. And I think this one almost leans more towards the aesthetic than the technical, but it's certainly a very time-consuming process. This is a 10-hour exposure, whereas the previous picture of the moon, of course, would be well less than a second. Next slide is our digital door prize. And so, Dave, if you click that video and put the link in the chat. So, and I will just talk over the music. So this is actually the live countdown. So our digital door prize for everyone this evening. And if you pick that link out of the chat and just paste it into the address bar on your browser, NASA's already streaming the live landing of the Perseverance rover and its embedded Ingenuity helicopter. So this is, you may have seen, if you were in some of our previous monthly meetings, I did a short video I put in about the Ingenuity helicopter. NASA's actually flying a little tiny drone to Mars with the Perseverance rover. So the rover's going to go around and take pictures of stuff and blast rocks and things like that to determine their chemical composition. But beyond the reach of the rover and its view, this little helicopter is going to, it's going to fly some moderate distance, about a 90-second flight, so fairly short, I guess, actually, for a drone. And that's going to land as a solar-powered drone. It's going to charge up its batteries and then fly again. So it's going to make a number of forays out some distance away from the rover that might be too dangerous to send the rover, but you'd like to get a closer look at it. So for those of you, so that in the top left-hand corner of this video, if you bring it up on your computer, you'll be able to see it even clearly, is the countdown to the actual landing. And so they're now down at, looks like, what, 17 hours or something like that. Yeah, 17 hours until the landing. So that first video was talking about that 7 minutes of terror as it comes through the atmosphere. And they did mention that it basically has to do it by itself. And that's because the communication time from the rover to Earth and back is way too long. It's longer than 7 minutes. So it's like by the time the rover saw something and sent the signal back to Earth to get help, to decide, should I do this or should I do that, it would have already been over. So it's really an artificial intelligence system that's going to be looking at the ground as it falls and making decisions about where it should land so that it can avoid boulders and things like that. So I think it's going to be really exciting. And so you can all join the live stream. And this has been on for actually at least a couple days now, as they've been counting down to the actual landing time. So, and then on kind of the right side of that live stream there, they're actually live counting the distance down to the Mars entry and the distance back from the Earth. So I want to encourage you all to enjoy that nice little digital door prize to take with you. And with that,